Have you heard the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover? But that's what people do, right? We judge everything by outward appearances. In my experience, a great album cover can make or break the decision on whether I buy an album. So go on a journey with me as we look at some great album cover designs and talk about why I believe that you need a personal designer for your album artwork. This is Judged by the Cover. Hey guys, and welcome to a new Judged by the Cover podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Phil.
And it is 2025.
Gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
I can't believe it.
New year, same us.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Are you like a new year, new me? Do you do any resolutions or goals or anything like that?
No, but the only thing I am doing is the fast that our church is doing with my wife, which is basically, I don't even know if you can call it fast, but we're just tweaking the diet a little bit.
Hey, come
Not
on.
to get too deep into it, but and I think it's a benefit. It does fulfill the purpose of the fast.
Yeah, come on. For me, I haven't actually, what is it, the 14th or the 15th? What is today?
Yeah.
I haven't actually sat down and put, pen to paper for some goals yet. I think the biggest thing is, related to the podcast. The goal this year is to get to weekly uploads. So you see us more often. We are failing currently since it is.
Don't say that. Don't ever say that.
But it's always fun to try and, we're two people, but getting two people's schedules to line up sometimes and get stuff done and record ahead. It's a fun process that we're trying to figure out. But that's the biggest thing I've got. But we're not here to talk about that kind of stuff. We're here to talk about the best of 2024. So last year, that was actually your first episode. You are 1 year old on the Judged by the Cover podcast.
That's an anniversary. Oh.
So
that's cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we started this last year, just talking about some of our favorites, album covers, physical packaging. We've got a couple little categories that we're going to be talking through. I'm pretty excited. I think overall, I think this is going to be a pretty fun one to talk through. We've already been kind of sharing a little bit of what we're bringing to the table today, and we're both pretty excited. But before we get too far, let's take a second to thank our sponsors, and we will jump into Best of 2024. Hey guys, this is Josh with JW Creates. Did you know at JW Creates, we specialize in cover art that looks like this and like these? We also create logos that look like this and like this. We also design websites that look like this one, and like this. If you need help creating these visual identity pieces that tell the story of your music, your podcast, your business, or event, go to jwcreates.com, check out my work and connect with me there, and let's work together to bring your project to life. We are back. So to kind of kick us off here, I just wanted to share, 2024, pretty big year in music. There were 24 albums that reached the number one spot on the Billboard 200, 2024. 24 made it to the top.
Oh, okay.
Most notably was the Tortured Poets Department.
Yes.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
That spent 17 weeks atop the chart.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell me what song? This is just best album.
I don't. Yeah, it's album.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It says it broke several of the top 200 records this year, including becoming the first album by a female artist to spend its first 12 weeks at the number one spot.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Big year for Taylor Swift, and then Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple other names that also creeped into that number one spot. But she kind of ruled 2024. Go figure. I mean, she kind of ruled the world, I think, this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of just a quick little look at just music in general. I was going to have a little bit more data on some of that stuff, but I mean, it all was just like Taylor Swift. So
well, she showed up at the NFL. I mean, it's just like, it's just kind of changed the viewing habit. Like NFL's like, oh, she's going to be at the stadium. Let's
Yeah,
people tuned in more.
yeah, 100%. How can we align our schedule? Which they say they didn't, but I mean, you can look at
Yeah,
the
they did.
Chiefs' schedule and see that like they wanted to make sure they were close enough that she could make an appearance.
Hey, I hope they go the distance, Kelsey and Taylor,
Hey, come on, I'm rooting for them. I have no reason
Yeah.
to hate on that, but
Absolutely. Why not? I think it's they're huge stars. Go for it. Hope it works out.
come on. So, where we like to start is with best album cover of
Mm.
2024, and this can be kind of like best album or favorite album, and also the cover art. If you've been around lately, you know whether it's on social media or following the podcast, you've probably heard me reference these guys right here. So, my favorite album cover of 2024 is Linkin Park from Zero.
Mm.
Um, Big return of Linkin Park. They haven't released an album since 2017,
Wow.
and that's I think shortly thereafter is when we lost Chester. And so this was a big deal. They were they spent a lot of time trying to figure out like, are we gonna regroup? Are we gonna just go our separate ways and keep making music? Mike Shinoda spent a lot of time trying to figure out like, can he kind of scratch that itch doing it on his own and stuff like that.
Right.
Ultimately, they came back together. I'm like a fangirl. Like I could talk about this all day long. Been very excited about it, and album art is awesome in my opinion.
I love the color.
Yeah, so the bright pinks and these dark hues and stuff like that. And at first, I didn't quite get it until I heard Mike talking about the process of coming up with this album cover. It's actually this is a photograph. It kind of looks like it should almost be either like painted or something like that. But you'll have to check out. So I'm being vague because we are actually getting ready to do a full episode breakdown of this album. So I don't want to
give away too
I don't want to
much.
give away everything, but I want to tell you that I love this.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
We know Chester is passed away, but is it still the core group, or did they replace members, or how does that work?
Yeah. So they do now have a lead singer who's a female. It's Emily Armstrong.
Yeah,
I believe is her name. And they also, I think they replaced the bass player. The original member, he's at a point in his life where he didn't want to, or he couldn't really
do it,
give what he needed to.
Yeah.
I'm assuming family, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So new bass player, and then drummer, maybe.
Yeah.
Man, I should know this.
No, it's okay. I'm just curious. I mean, it's I remember when they broke. I think I told you I was working out in Hollywood, and some guys I knew at work were just blasting it, and I was like, okay, this band big, man, big break out of the gate, first album.
Oh yeah. First album's huge. Hybrid Theory, and then the one to follow, Meteora. Those are like in my Mount Rushmore of like rock albums. Like those two. I mean, they kind of changed just that rock metal world, bringing in these hip hop themes and electronics and stuff like that.
And kind of like a rap. Yeah. There were raps in there, proper raps.
Yeah. So, they were a big deal, and it was a big deal them coming back. And I know there are some, there's kind of both sides. There are some people that they don't like the new singer, that they came back together because they can't see the band without Chester. And obviously it's different. Right, you can't replace someone like Chester. There's just really no way to do it. He was just a gift. But I think they did it well. Everything that you want from a Linkin Park album, the riffs are there. Yeah. The rap rock elements are there. The catchy choruses and everything.
Interesting sequencing of songs.
Yeah.
That intro is just crazy. Again, we don't want to give away too much.
Yeah. But, We'll get into this a little bit more. So be on the lookout for that. We're actually trying to get calendars aligned to get those filmed, but really excited. That's my album cover and album of the year. This came out in September, and there were songs on this album that were like in the top 10 and number 1 on my Apple Music. They don't call it Wrapped. What do they call it? A recap or something like that.
Yeah.
Same thing as Spotify Wrapped. So it was, this was a a big album for me this year.
I love it. And were you in high school when this came out? And where were you?
Yeah, high school. So back in Wyoming, if anybody wants to know. Yeah, I just remember being in the weight room and wrestling practice and stuff like that, and just hearing Hybrid Theory. And back then, the internet and social media wasn't even. I mean, social media I don't even think existed.
I think MySpace was a dream.
2003, 2004, 2005, whenever, So when new music came out, it took a while to get to Wyoming. But I remember hearing it and just immediately falling in love. I loved elements of like hip hop music. I already loved rock music. And so to like kind of hear these come together and just, I loved everything about it.
It was big, man.
Yeah. Especially like Meteora. And back then, it was like your buddy bought the CD and you ripped it onto your computer.
Oh, I hate you guys. No wonder we all went bankrupt because of you.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm not proud of it, but I did steal a lot of music back in the day.
Gosh,
whether that was
brutal.
Bumming somebody's CD, because not everybody was going to buy the CD.
People were ripping it. Yeah.
Why did we get to that?
I don't know.
Even remember.
But I was curious where you were when that album broke.
Yeah. But it was middle school, high school days.
Yeah, I was out there working. I definitely remember the drop.
Yeah, so that's my best album cover of this year. Phil, what do you got? What was your
Logan Crosby? I'm wearing his hat. I'm wearing the merch. Logan Crosby, I first heard about him on ABC Hulu's show Claim to Fame, and check it out. He's one of the original cast members from season 1, and the only reason my wife and I dug into Claim to Fame is because our daughter is a cast member on season 3 of Claim to Fame. And it's a fun reality show. It's hosted by Kevin and Franklin Jonas, and they do a great job. And I'm not going to give away who our celebrity relative is, or I'm not going to give away who Logan Crosby's celebrity relative is.
You got to figure it out yourself.
Yeah. So when we watched the show, we fell in love with Logan. He's so funny. And there's another gal on the show called Pepper. She was great too. We fell in love with her, and Lark and all these other great cast members. And it's really cool because you got to figure out like, well, who are they? What? And these are big celebrities they're related to. So you got to figure out like, well, who's their celebrity relative? He went on to record a country album. Nice. And we supported him. We will, just by going to his live show in Chattanooga, buying the merch. His parents were running the merch table, and his album is so good. And you can tell he really prepared and put this album together, and then he supported it with a tour. I mean, my hat's off to the young man. He did a great job. I highly recommend.
Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I love the album cover. I've got it pulled up here, and we'll do the magic editing. I love this Surgeon General warning: listening to Logan Crosby can significantly alter your mood, resulting in feelings of joy, sadness, and nostalgia. If you hate good music, be advised.
Yeah,
that's a fun little touch. On the album cover.
Yeah, great songs, like great. New country songs, and he's from Atlanta, but if I'm not mistaken, he lives in Nashville, and I would imagine he may have put together the album up in Nashville. I'm not sure, but it seems like a Tennessee album. So
probably.
We'll give him a little produced in Tennessee cred.
Yeah, I think if you're doing country music, and if you're currently living in Nashville, you probably recorded that.
He's got such a great personality. Like I can totally see him crushing it.
Yeah,
because he has fun with it. His live shows are great. He's got a huge fan base.
Really
great. It was Barrel House Ballroom in Chattanooga. Man, that thing was packed. Great band. We got to chat with the band and chat with Logan. Met him for the first time after the show, and just a great group.
Dude, that's what I love about these smaller venues like Barrel House. I don't know. Do you think? I wonder what their capacity is. It's less than 1,000.
Probably.
But you don't get that, hanging out with the band, getting to meet the artists at these huge venues and stuff like that. And obviously for good reason.
Yeah.
But God, I love small music venues. Shout out Barrel House
Yeah,
Ballroom.
absolutely. I'm
That's a
going
cool
there in a
place.
week, or I'm going to go see Peter Buck and this Kevin Kinney artist. I don't even know him, but I'm going for Peter Buck, who's the guitarist of REM. I love the Barrel House for that. You get up close with these really cool artists.
Yeah, and they bring in a good mix. They bring in a good mix of like local talent, and they don't get as big a names. Obviously, smaller space as per
Yeah,
se like the Signal or what's the Tivoli and stuff like
yeah.
that. But they do an awesome job.
It's
Great little
great,
venue.
warm venue, good lighting, great sound,
Yeah,
and cool location in downtown
yeah,
Chat. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
go check out a show down there. You'll love it.
I like this album cover. There's nothing crazy about it, but it's a great shot of him. And again, that little warning down there at the bottom. I can see how
Yeah,
some people may see that as cheesy, but I think it's fun. I mean, from just what I'm hearing of like who this kid is
yeah.
and stuff like that, I think kid. I mean, what is he? My age?
He's a little probably younger, a little younger. You're in your what, mid 30s? I
Yeah.
would guess Logan's probably in his 20,
Oh,
mid
so
to
I
mid
can call him
20s
kid
somewhere.
then. I can call him
Yeah,
kid.
he's probably my daughter's age.
I'm
Gracie
just kidding.
Lou's 25, and I think Logan
Okay.
might be around Gracie Lou's age.
Okay.
But I think when you get to know an artist that, for a debut album,
Yeah.
you want to see their picture, and you want to get to know them, and it is kind of like a diary, the songs in there. It's
Yeah, and I'm
definitely relationship themed.
And I'm wondering, so the album's title is 2019, is that correct?
Yeah.
I wonder if there is, I wonder if there's um, feelings and stuff like that came, from like what happened from like 2019 until like 23 or 24, whenever this
Yeah.
album came out,
Yeah. Last year it came
pandemic,
out.
yeah, yeah. So like what, that growth or, going through the pandemic and how the
Oh,
world's changed and stuff like that. I'm assuming that's probably what fuels a lot
yeah.
of the narratives
Yeah,
and
it's
some
it's
stuff like
it's
that.
it's got it smacks of some nostalgia
Mhm.
in this album, and when I listen to it, I think about my high school days and when I was young. I was just cool, and I love that because you can
Yeah,
relate. It's very you picture it all.
yeah, yeah. That's cool. I haven't checked it out, but definitely it's going to the top of the list. So
Yeah, and check
for
out
me,
Claim to Fame. I mean, if you're into reality shows, like it's a game show. It's fun,
I'm
so
not. I'm not. I
you
don't.
can't
I
do
don't
it.
watch TV, man. I
Come
watch
on.
sports and stuff like that, but when it comes to like watching TV shows and stuff like that, I'm out.
Too much content. There's too much out there.
There's too much. There's too much. Yeah. Well, awesome. So the next one, and this one's a little harder. We're going to be talking about favorite physical packaging. So this is like what the music comes in, right? And
Mm,
I think we're getting to a point. For the longest time, everything has been so digital, streaming, online, get it from iTunes directly to your phone.
yeah,
But I think the art of physical packaging, especially the resurgence of vinyl and stuff like that, I
yeah.
think is fueling some of it. But I think physical packaging is becoming more and more important for especially like bigger artists and stuff like that because they got the budgets to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, we're looking at one right here.
Right, right. Which this one is pretty great, but I actually have one that I think is better.
Dude, what?
So my favorite one that came out this year, and I need to track one down. I haven't bought one yet, and some of it's because it's Christmas music.
Yeah, it's okay. We can still talk about Christmas
Christmas
music.
music is fun. I hate that most like Christmas music is like the same 10 songs, and it just gets like
I know. If
rehashed.
I
It's
hear
like
Santa Baby one more time, I can't do it. Like next year, please don't cover Santa Baby.
but physical packaging that came out last year, Jimmy Fallon dropped an album called
Yes.
Holiday Seasoning,
Oh yeah.
and this thing was awesome. I think I saw it was either on social media or something like that. I will try. I've got a little video clip that I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get on the video. But when it opens up, it opens up and it's got those fancy greeting cards
Yes.
that you open them up and it like opens up into like a flower or
Yeah.
like a
My mother-in-law
seed or
hooks me
something like
up
that.
every year with those.
Yeah, yeah.
Love them.
So imagine that. Like you've got this vinyl record and you open it up and up pops a Christmas tree and there's a bunch of presents all around it and you've got Jimmy Fallon standing in front of it
That's
and it
crazy.
all just pops up and then when you fold it, it goes back down.
Genius.
And it's beautiful to watch. The picture
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily do it
Yeah, you
justice.
shared that with me. I love that. Look
And
at that.
and it looks like, and I'm wondering if the first edition gets this little pop out of Jimmy skiing.
I bet.
But even the album cover, it just fits who he is.
Yeah.
Just fun, festive. You got Jimmy skiing in a black suit.
Perfect. It's
and
perfect.
and a couple of squirrels watching him.
He's almost like our era's Dean Martin,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just from the Rat Pack, and always dressed to the nines, wearing a nice suit or a tux. The Rat Pack from the Vegas days. Those guys running around.
Yeah, and overall, like, the music is really fun. A lot of original songs. He's got great guests on the album, like Megan Trainor.
And he's quite the musician himself.
He is.
Obviously, we've seen that now because he's been doing the show for so long. And he always does those weird little, like, weird kid instruments with, like, Adele, or he takes a huge star like Adele and they do her songs with, like, kazoos and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, music is like,
that's his thing. Yeah,
it's wrapped up in. But Jonas Brothers, The Roots, Megan Trainor, Justin Timberlake, Ariana Grande,
Hello.
Weird Al.
That's fun.
LL Cool J. Like, there's just, it's fun. The album itself is a lot of fun. I just thought that physical touch of, like, when you open it and it's just this scene that pops up. That's cool.
I agree. It's like a talking point. Like with digital, I really miss liner notes. Like, I loved opening an album, and I was that nerdo kid that just read all the liner notes. I could tell you who produced it and where they recorded it, and I miss that stuff.
That's not the guitar player's name.
Yeah. But you really wanted to get to know the band, and I think liner notes somehow, and I know you can get them, but it's harder now.
Yeah.
It's just easier when you have it here and you're in your living room and the music's playing on the turntable and you're reading all about it.
Yeah. No, definitely. And so I think that's why I want to continue to, like, highlight physical packaging, because, like, I want to see more of this. I'm not a big holiday music fan. I don't just sit down and listen to a lot of holiday music.
Yeah.
But I want to buy this album, one, just for, like, the packaging itself.
Yeah.
But two, I mean, it is a fun album.
Maybe we'll find it at Yellow Racket. Maybe it'll be, we could grab it down there.
Yeah, come on.
The other thing is, like, when you are listening to, let's say, this Linkin Park album, in a way, especially when you were younger, for me anyway, growing up in the late 70s, 80s. That's cool though. I'm at peace with my age, but that's an opportunity to get to know an artist, and I really do think, like, tangibles. I mean, look, I'm wearing Logan's hat, and we bought his music, and if you are able to buy vinyl or even a cassette now, it's just like a way it's a gateway. The artist is telling you, like, this is who I am, and in the liner notes, you learned a lot about these artists.
Yeah, and now that we have social media and stuff like that, you get, like, some of the behind the scenes photos and videos, like, because that's now content, right?
Yeah.
But that was, you didn't really get to see the behind the scenes for a lot of these artists unless you had that physical, and you got to open it up and see, like, I don't know if I should show you guys this.
Oh, go ahead.
But because we're probably going to talk about it a little bit more. But, like, you don't get to see this kind of stuff.
No.
Unless you buy the physical packaging. At least back in the day. These days, you can probably see a lot of this stuff online, social media, their websites, stuff like that.
It's almost too much, though. I know it's, like, probably a generational thing, but, I almost don't want to know too much about the artist. Like, I don't want to see what they had for breakfast, really.
There can be too much.
I want the mystery. I want to be like, I'm in awe of you as an artist. You're my favorite band. I don't care what you ate this morning. That's just me. What do I know?
Phil, did you buy any music or see anything physical packaging wise that you really love this year?
Yeah, I brought a little show and tell. We have a local artist.
Let's get Linkin Park out of the way.
Yeah, Tenny Ray, and man, she's so cool. You know where we met her? My wife and I performed as part of Tennessee Songwriter Week.
That's right.
Last year, and it's coming up. It's actually, you should go. Tennessee Songwriter Week is so awesome. The state really goes above and beyond by showcasing artists, songwriters from the state of Tennessee at local venues in every county in Tennessee, and they promote the heck out of it. And so we met Tenny Rain here in Chattanooga, and this album was she was just finishing up this Goldenrod album, and I saw her perform. She went on after us, and I was backstage talking to her. I'm like, what a sweetheart, what a really nice just person hanging out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she went on, and her song is great. She's a great songwriter.
She won that. She was one of the
Yeah,
finalists from that round.
she was a
right?
finalist. I was
Yeah.
not a finalist. My song was too good. You worked on my
Yeah,
album cover for
yeah.
Too Good. I was like, damn, you guys, it's probably too poppy. But I was like, whatever. I was just happy to be part of it. But she went on to some rounds at Songbirds. And then you met her. We met, we caught up, and I bought this album when we were down at Yellow Racket for a music industry event. And I just think she's a solid singer-songwriter, a great songwriter, and you should definitely check out her album. And I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So for one, as just like a local artist, and I don't want to say that in a degrading way or anything like that, but for her to invest in like a physical format like vinyl, some of it's like I know for her, we got to talk to her about it, and she said she kind of did it for herself because she wanted to have it.
I
And
love that.
And she was like, I don't care if I have boxes of them
It's
left
numbered.
over.
Yeah,
and it's numbered. Just that little detail, I love. I love the number at the top. Phil got her to sign it because she was standing right there.
Always have your artist sign that merch if you can, if you're,
And
if
it's just really cool that the local record store has a local artist in the lineup. So yeah, just really cool. I love it. It's very simple. It's fun, but I love the little touches, like you said, the number, and just having met her and just listen to her talk about the process of bringing the album to life and doing the vinyl and stuff like that. Like this fits her.
Yeah. And I thought about her and Logan Crosby, like two Tennessee-based artists, even though we know Logan's from Atlanta or no, Georgia. He's from a small town, I think, in Georgia. But that these artists have really worked hard to put together great packaging. They're doing it. They're what I call the finishers. Yeah. I know a lot of people that would love to have an album out on vinyl.
Yeah.
And she had this pressed up in Cleveland, Ohio. They did a great job.
Yeah.
The presser up there, I forget the name of them, God forbid, but they did such a good job. I don't know. They're finishers. They're artists that really are proud of their work, and go support them. Gate 11 is the bar down at the Choo Choo in downtown Chattanooga where we met her. Yeah.
Clear vinyl too.
Clear vinyl. Awesome. And, Gate 11 did a great job of hosting Tennessee Songwriter Week, that first round, and then it went to Songbirds. And then the winner went to the Bluebird up in Nashville. I mean, that's big time, and the prize is awesome. You get like a fabulous prize. But anyway, I digress. I'm just, so this album, Tenny Rain, Goldenrod, and then Logan Crosby, 2019. Those are my faves, man.
Yep. If you're lucky enough, you can still find. I think you can still find a physical copy at Yellow Racket Records here in Chattanooga, or I think it's on Spotify.
It is,
Apple Music, all the other platforms.
Tenny Rain, y'all. Tenny Rain.
We should have found out if she has like a website and stuff like that. Send people to.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
Who doesn't have a website?
You got to, right? You have to. All songs written and arranged by Tenny Rain Butler, except for a couple special ones on here. Again, let's see, like you get to just read, and she submitted this for Grammy consideration.
Yeah.
So she really did her
homework. She's going after it.
Yeah, she's going after it, and she's a total independent. I love it, man.
Well, cool. Well, that's a good one, Phil. I like that.
Oh, thanks.
Good choice. All right. So our next category, and this one's just more fun to talk about, but it's a interesting album or artists that we found last year. So a lot of times when I'm working in my studio here, I have music playing. It's just I work better when there's music going. And sometimes it's just like instrumental, like hip hop beats and stuff like that, because that's when I really need to focus. But Apple Music also has it's like a discovery station where it knows the kind of music that you listen to, so it throws stuff at you that it thinks you're gonna like. and I'll throw that on when I'm working, just because it just blends out into the background. And it's very rarely that a song will stop me mid, whatever I'm working on, and
Yeah.
go, "Wait, what is that?"
Oh wow.
But there was an album that came on, and I forget what song it was at this point, but it doesn't matter because the whole album is solid. It's a bit. The band name is Polaris,
Hmm.
and the album name is The Death of Me, and it's rock metal. But overall, it is probably front to back one of the most solid metal albums that I think I've listened to in a long time. This album came out in 2020.
Oh
They're an
gosh.
Australian band. But even like the album artwork,
That's
when I
wild.
stopped and looked, the album artwork is awesome. Again, we'll pull it up on the
That's a
screen here.
very cool cover.
Yeah. So for those of you that are listening, what we've got is we got a guy, and I'm assuming this is like wet beach, right? Is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Guy walking on the water, but dude's on fire. Like this is bad for him. But yeah, it's just it captures your attention, like what's going on here, and
Mm.
just again front to back, this album solid. Not a bad song on the album, I'm pretty sure.
See, now I'm gonna want to check that out.
And what's cool is there's a range on this album. It's not just all in your face metal, which I know a lot of people love. I mean, that's kind of why you listen to, the the growls
Yeah.
and the screams and all that. One of my favorite songs is called Martyr, and in parentheses it says Waves. And the beginning of the song, it's almost got this like ping pong like effect with the guitar, and it's just fun. It's melodic, just great metal album.
Are they like? Have they been around a long time, or are they a relatively new band?
So first album came out in 2017. This was their second album, and they released another album in 23. I haven't listened to the first album. I tried
Yeah.
listening to the one that just came out last year, and it was or 2 years ago now, and it was okay, but nothing like this album.
Yeah.
Like this is a great sophomore album. Like this is like a home
It's the
run.
hardest one to make, isn't it? The sophomore
think
album.
so.
I think it's the tough one.
That or they say number 4.
Oh, really? If you're lucky enough.
If you're lucky enough to get
Gosh.
there, getting to number 4, I think is
Oh boy, yeah, it's
But-
hard, man. It's a hard game.
yeah. So that was kind of one of those. It was a fun discovery. I wasn't necessarily looking, for this band, but popped up. This was also one of those where like 3 or 4 of the songs were in my top 10 songs for the year. So it was right
Are you
there.
going to be able to show this to the
Oh, yeah.
viewers? Because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
reminds me a little bit. I think isn't it Pink Floyd that did that one where I'm
Uh,
shaking your hand, but
Yeah,
we're on
in
fire
is it in the Warner Brothers
at the
lot?
Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah, and the one guy's on
Yeah,
fire.
it's evocative
It is.
of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like that's why I'm curious to like. Oh, I'd listen to that to see what the vibe's like. I'm not a big like. Is it new metal?
Well, it's straight up metal.
Yeah, I don't know. I can get down with that for a little bit,
I
but not all.
you
not
should
for
you should
the
listen to
long
at least
haul.
that song Martyr.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, I'll check it.
You'd be into it. The rest of the album may get a little heavy for you, but
Yeah,
I love it. I'm here for it.
I do appreciate elements of that style.
Yeah, that's one of those styles that you have to kind of love, and it's for me. It was I had to like learn to love it. I was never big. I thought screamo was stupid.
Yeah.
Back in the day, until I had a buddy he played guitar for a band called Righteous Vendetta. They became one of my favorite bands to go see live. Some of it's because like I knew
Yeah.
the boys.
Yeah, of course.
But they were kind of my gateway into that genre, and I still don't listen to a lot of it, especially like when it gets into like death metal and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
that, it gets a little scary and heavy for me. But
And that's a big rabbit hole. You can get
Oh,
deep down
gosh.
to that stuff. We're like, whew,
not
not today, Satan. You know what I'm saying?
not today.
Not today, man.
Uh,
I don't know, man. Like that German stuff. Those
What's-
guys go dark
Yeah.
quick. I'm like, whew, what
Yeah.
happened to y'all as a kid?
Who hurt
What?
you?
Got hurt bad.
That's
That's why I like Sabrina Carpenter. I'm like, oh, okay, that's just pop music.
You just want that pop candy, huh?
Yeah, just give me a hit of that pop candy.
Did you have any interesting artist finds this last year?
Well, I think I told you a little bit. Like I went back to classicals. I don't know if that's interesting
mean-
artist finds, but I did go back into the classical.
Tell me a little bit
greats.
about it.
I just got kind of like, I guess my ears got tired. And I think, like you, when I'm working and stuff, and I was driving Uber for a bit, and I just popped on classical every time I was driving. And I tell you what, no one ever told me to turn it off. And so, all the greats,
I
like,
say something.
yeah, people like it. It's like I had people like thank me or give me reviews saying, "Oh, he played cool classical music." And what I found is that I don't know, like the greats, Johann Sebastian Bach and Beethoven, Mozart, Vivaldi, and then getting into like Ravel. I fell in love with Ravel through a high school buddy of mine from Europe. He turned me on to Ravel, and I don't know, man. I was like, I need an ear break.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you and I we have different styles, and
Yep.
I was definitely a pop writer when I was, involved with my band. But yeah, I don't know. I got into classical and then Delta blues because I've got relatives down in Memphis, and whenever we go to visit them, I always put on like the classic Delta blues artists, like the whole Beale Street vibe, because there's something
Okay.
special down there. I love Memphis, man. It's such,
I need to go. I haven't been.
dude. I was just on Beale Street with Robin, and we were down there for Thanksgiving. There is just every time I go down there and I start, my cousin and I, we always listen to the blues when we're cooking, and
Yeah.
it's special, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say it's spiritual. It's
Yeah.
spiritual, man. God shows up down there in the blues.
And I think a lot of popular music has a lot of roots in blues. Country,
Yeah.
rock. I would even say maybe even some pop's got some roots in
Yeah.
the blues.
My last one was Tina Turner because, like, I don't know,
Mm.
something about Tina. She's a special artist. May she rest in peace. And
Yep.
so I don't know, man. And then I was just, my kids always turn me on to the pop stuff. So did like a 14-hour road trip to New York with my eldest daughter and got turned on to Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. I was like, that's a really good song. That's a really good song. I like it.
Yeah.
So my wife was pointing out all the F-bombs. I'm like, yeah, let her ride with that.
Come on, Robin.
Yeah, I know, man. But it's funny. A lot of these new artists, man, they're dipping into the 80s now. Like 90s sounds are popular now, but also they're dipping in hard into this 80s sound again, which I love.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, and that could be a fun little segue. I know we're getting a little long-winded here, but trends from 2024 that you've seen. What you said kind of brings up one of the things that I saw was this rise of like 90s and 2000s like rock or just music giants.
Yeah.
So Creed, big Creed fan.
Gosh, so
them
good.
coming back together and touring was not something that I ever had like on my bingo card.
No.
But being able to, we saw Scott Stapp here in Chattanooga, which was an interesting story.
Yeah.
But then also getting to see Creed as a whole in Nashville, it was just awesome. That was a band that I grew up on. They were that first band that like I kind of held on to, like, this is new music that I love. My dad hated.
Really?
So, my dad hated it. He's a classic rock guy, man. He liked the Guns N' Roses.
But now
AC/DC.
Creed is classic rock.
No,
for your
not.
generation.
It is actually. Do you know what the term is for music for artists like Creed, Nickelback, Puddle of Mud, stuff like that?
Don't tell me AAD or something stupid.
No, it's dad rock.
Dad rock?
Yep, that's the kind of the coined term at this point, mostly by social media.
I hate the culture. Is that the best you can come up with?
Because
dad
I'm pretty
rock?
sure AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith. That's always going to be classic rock. I don't think you can start bringing in like Red Hot Chili Peppers as classic rock. I just don't think that's ever going to...
Dad rock. I will say, when we had our second child, With Arms Wide Open came on the radio after my wife told me we're having a girl, and I had to pull over the car. Santa Monica Boulevard, start crying, and that song came on. I was like, oh. So I love him, and I think Scott Stapp, right?
Yeah,
he did a great job on his solo show. We went to the Signal thanks to Josh, and man, what a great! He puts on a high energy show.
Yeah, and I think I had even forgotten. Did you know that they performed at the Super Bowl?
When?
99, 98, 99, or
Ooh,
something like that.
busy having babies.
It
I
was
don't
it was
know.
definitely a different time for the NFL. It wasn't quite what it is now, but they were Super
Interest.
Bowl halftime show
That's
performers.
huge.
That's crazy. Yeah, so they're just like he is like that top tier showman. He's kind of weird. When I say kind of, he's a lot weird.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but we love him.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I think just the return and the rise of these music giants from like the 90s and
Mhm.
2000s. Uh, I'm here for it, man. Linkin Park's back. Creed's out touring. I would
Huge.
love new music for Creed. I don't think it's going to happen. It would have happened by now, would be my
Really?
guess. Yeah, but it's just, and I saw my older brother. We have very similar music tastes, and he sent me a list of artists that are rumored to have music come out this year, and it's all bands from like that
Oh
early
wow.
2000s.
Yeah.
Like it, yeah. Come on, I'm
If the
here for
well's
that
not dry,
trend.
man. Sometimes the well's not
Yeah,
dry.
it's one of those things that it's like I'm finally old enough to have like legacy artists that I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't
I
know, it's
think
kind
it's
of cool.
great. We get to grow up with these artists and we get to see them come back and do
Yeah.
big shows at the Bridgestone, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
come on up in
Awesome.
Nashville, big time.
And then the other one was just the country bandwagon. Everybody jumping on the country
Oh,
music,
yeah.
right? Which we've talked about a lot on here, so we don't have to keep beating that dead horse.
Can I drop
but
a quick news flash?
heck yeah,
Ringo Starr just dropped a new country album like days ago.
country album.
A country album because our
Ooh.
music teacher from the school I work at
Yeah.
is going up to Nashville tonight to see his show.
Huh.
And he had some killer writers and producers on there,
Ringo
like
Starr.
T-Bone Burnett. Yeah, for
Ugh,
real.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
But evidently, his early album after the Beatles, it's not his first country album.
Huh. Interesting.
So I'm going to check out Ringo Starr's new country album
There you
tonight.
go, people. Go check it
Because
out.
I'll be up all night because we just drank like 5 cups of coffee. It's good coffee, by the way.
You're welcome.
I love it that with music, you can talk about music forever. It's fun.
Yeah.
And if you're an artist making music, keep making music. And I would say really think about your design and what you want to put out, whether it's a cassette, which my daughter thinks is weird, but I'd put out a cassette. Obviously you're gonna have to download, but also get somebody like Josh here to do your album art, like work with a graphic designer and work with a great photographer and do a limited edition numbered pressing on vinyl and do it up in Cleveland or find one of the presses here in Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting easier and easier. I know it's still expensive, for the most
It
part,
is, man.
but it's getting easier to create this stuff again. So
Yeah. I don't know. You really got to sell it at your live shows. I think you're really
Yeah.
going to be like a Logan Crosby or a Tenny Rain where you're playing and this is at your merch table and your parents are helping you sell the merch. Because I've been at shows, man, where the artist is running their merch table and they lose a ton of sales because they can't get off stage and
Fast
to the
enough.
merch table fast enough. And I saw people just leaving.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I'll run your merch table for like 90 grand a year. Just let me do it.
Who are you working for, Creed?
I'd love to. Dude, I used to silk screen my own band t-shirts when I was in my band in New York. My wife and I would be out there in our
Bootstrapping it.
apartment like 100, 200. How fun was that though? I love doing it. We had a
Yeah.
lot of fun, man,
Yeah.
making our own merch.
Do you have any trends that you saw in music this year that we need to touch on?
Just real quick,
Yeah.
songs are getting shorter.
Ooh, yeah.
Like that kind of freaked me out. I got to dig into this a little more. And if you are privy to this, that maybe it's just in the pop song market, I don't know, but people are like condensing songs like 2 minutes and under. And back in my day, that would be like a punk rock song or a musical interlude. And
Yep.
so I think it's because they want like completion or something.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. I've seen similar trend in like hip hop music that like 2.5 to 3 minutes. Like that's the new norm where it used to be like 3 to 4 minutes. And then, some people, 4, 5, 6
Yeah,
minutes.
my
was
songs
very
clock into like 4 minutes. I've got like some 5-minute songs.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I mean, for the longest time, that was normal. Obviously, I think radio format's always been like 3 or 4 minutes.
3 minutes
right?
was a sweet spot. 3:20, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, that's definitely a trend. And I'm sure we can thank TikTok, which may or may not
Yeah.
exist by the time you hear this.
I don't know how I feel about that though.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna find that in classical music.
Oh
It'll
no.
be a
Heck
musical
no.
interlude, but
Yeah.
classical, you better buckle up, man, because it's gonna be a 7-minute wonder.
Yeah. So I mean, that's definitely a trend. I think it's probably going to hit every kind of music. I would guess. I mean, obviously, I know pop and hip hop; those are two areas. I
Yeah,
still think like your rock, your country music, they're
yeah,
still more radio format. I think they're always
yeah.
going to be kind of that.
You know how you get like I get so much news from Instagram now, so it's a lot of it's
Yeah.
like, dude, I mean, I gotta look into it more. And they're
Right.
just like, where you got the time? But I will look into this one. Maybe I'll report back to you what I
Ooh,
find out, like
yeah.
if I can back it up with any kind of stats.
Yeah. No, that's very that's one I didn't even think of. So that's a
Yeah, not a
good
bad one. And it
good
just hit
idea.
me. It just hit my freaking algorithm the other day. I'm
Really?
like, shorter songs. I mean, what a challenge to write a pop song within 2 minutes. I mean, that's maybe some kind of like creative writing class.
Yeah, you've got to have it's gonna just be all hook at that point.
Dude, I don't know.
Can we tell a story in 2.5 minutes? You
Maybe
gotta be real good.
real good. It's like a commercial.
Well, Phil, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Give me
thanks.
one thing that you were excited about in music in 2025.
In 2025, I'm excited for more live shows. So I've
Mhm.
already got purchased tickets for the
Yeah,
Barrel House here in Chattanooga
come
next
on.
week for my birthday with my wife.
Whoop, whoop.
And yeah, I think I'm just gonna really try to participate more in the live scene
Mm.
and supporting artists by like buying their merch and
Oh,
you
come on,
know,
come
I
on.
just being that guy, man. I
Yeah,
mean, not that I'm some money bags guy, but I actually do like to buy the merch and you get to meet the people behind the merch
yeah,
booth. I love every aspect of the music industry,
yeah,
every aspect of it.
yeah. No,
So
I
that's it.
I like that. Can I piggyback off of
Do it.
yours? Uh, and then also maybe new Phil Highland this
I'm
year.
working, baby.
We'll
And
see.
see, I'm one of those 90 bands, my band Girlfriend, where we had a follow-up album which we never recorded, and so we're just in the studio now slowly tracking it cuz why not? And you're going to do my album art and design. So, yeah, it's just a long process.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
obviously
I
I got a
know.
job. We all have day jobs, but it's
We're grown
fun.
ups now.
We're grown-ups. Shoot, I'll be waiting to be a grandfather, I guess, but I love being in the studio, and I
Uh,
work at Wavelength down in Chattanooga
oh yeah,
downtown,
our
and
boys.
yeah, I'm going back in on Monday. So yeah, it's just fun, man. I love it, and I love it. These songs now get a little moment in the sunlight.
Yeah, it's cool. I've gotten to hear a couple little snippets of stuff he's working on, so I'm really excited because he's been kind of feeding me some stuff as we go because I've got a concept in my brain that I'm really excited about. So
And
yeah,
I love the collaboration because I just want to focus on the music. I'm
come
just
on,
a songwriter, man. I
come
don't want to get all into like I don't have some big high concept. Every once in a while, I'll like, oh, this is a cool music video idea, and
yeah.
I'll chart it out. But nah, I'm relying on you.
Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, if you're in the same boat, if you're working on music, if you want somebody that loves music, loves album cover art, JW creates. That's what I do. I love album covers. I love branding. I love logos. I love kind of the whole imagery behind
Yeah.
yeah, as artists or small business stuff like that, but specifically, for musicians and artists and stuff like that, being able to take whether it's a song or an album and to like visually bring that thing to life through like graphic design. That's one thing that just gets me really excited and
And
I
I like your
love.
packages, like all the elements. So it can go to your socials, it can go to your
Mhm.
Instagram, it can go to your website, it can go to be a patch on a trucker hat, which I love. So, I
Wish we
love
could
it.
bring that thing to life.
I know. That's my little dream. I need a line of trucker hats. Or like Logan, what Logan did,
Heck yeah.
It's fun, man. You got to have a trucker hat.
Come on. Yes. Yes. Let's do it. Phil Highland trucker hat. Who knows? We may have some JW crates or judged by the cover trucker hats.
Ooh, because I love our logo,
Ooh, come
judged
on.
by the cover. That would be a cool trucker
Heck
hat.
yeah. If you want a trucker hat, let us know. You can hit me up at info@jwcrates.com or on Facebook and Instagram at jdubcreates. So, guys, this has been way longer than I anticipated, but it's been a lot of fun. A lot of cool stuff happened in 2024. Really excited about 2025.
Yeah, me too. It's
There's
going to be great.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited about episodes that we're going to be recording here very shortly. Ooh, these guys. This is what I'm really excited about.
Put it back up, baby. Put it back. We love you, Tanya Rain, but we're gonna put you over here.
So yeah, if you could give us a like, give us a subscribe wherever you're at. If you're on YouTube,
Yeah, tell your buddies.
Yeah, send it to your friends. Anybody that loves music, loves album art, or just send it to your friends.
It's
in
coffee
general.
clutch. We kibitz. We're kibitzing.
What's that?
It's Yiddish. We're talking about
Oh.
stuff. Let's kibitz. It's a coffee clutch.
I don't even know what we're talking about. We're speaking in tongues over here.
Yeah.
So that's it. Thank you guys for checking in on the Judge by the Cover podcast. Have a happy new year, and you're going to see us very soon.
Bye, you guys.